I'm going to be sharing with you in this video how to overcome bad habits. Because the thing is that we often try to overcome these bad habits in our life, but we can't. We stay stuck. We're trapped. We try to overcome these bad habits, but it's something that we can't. We can't overcome it. Maybe you've tried to overcome something in the past. Maybe you've tried to force yourself to quit something, and then maybe you've self-sabotaged and went back to the old way of being, and you also started to enter a cycle of guilt and a cycle of shame in that process of going back and forth. So you quit the habit, you force yourself, and then you go back to the old way of being, and then you guilt yourself, and then you shame yourself, and you say, why did I do this? And all this negativity comes up, and then we repeat and rinse that cycle until we finally realize that the strategy is flawed. The strategy does not always work. When we can realize that forcing ourselves through willpower is not the only way to quit a bad habit, what begins to happen is you get one step closer to really stepping into the space that you really want to be in. You get one step closer to living into the reality that you really want to live. And I'm going to share with you in this video exactly how to do that. How to not only break that cycle of guilt and shame, but quit any bad habit in your life and actually make the process easy and fun as can be. Because there's going to be confusion, there's going to be fear sometimes, there's going to be pain, obviously, when it comes to letting go of an old part of who you are. But I'm going to make sure that the process for you is as easy as can be and as fun as possible. And I want to share with you how to overcome bad habits in this video. So if you're new to this channel, what I want you to do is I want you to hit that subscribe button. I want you to hit that notification bell because I do post a new video every single day. Also, if you want to work with me one-on-one personally, hit the link that's in the description box of this video to apply for a free consultation to see if you're a good fit for the coaching program to work with me one-on-one personally. Also, I do have a group program coming up in the next couple of months. So if you want to be a part of the program, or if you have more details on the program, enrollment is closing soon. You can hit the link that's in the description box of this video for more details on that as well. So what's the first step to this process of overcoming bad habits? Well, the first step to this process is to just honor where you're at. Whatever it is that you're doing in your life, whatever it is that you're judging yourself for and guilting yourself, feeling guilty for and shaming yourself. Why am I not here yet? Why am I not like this person that I look up to? Why is this happening to me? Victim mindset. Just honor the fact that you are where you are. Just honor it. Just honor it. Because the thing is, when we don't accept where we are, we stay in resistance to where we are. That keeps you stuck in that reality. The more that you don't honor where you are in your life, all you're doing is you're persisting the reality that you don't want. You're feeding it energy. All that judgment is thought energy, and you're feeding. It's like when you feed a narcissist or somebody that tries to take your energy. No judgment here, because we're all one. But sometimes people will dishonor your energy in your heart. Your thoughts and your own ego are almost the same way. Your thoughts want your energy. They want to suck you in. They want you to judge yourself, and all of that judgment, all that negative self-talk, you dishonoring where you are in your life, all of that is just keeping you stuck in the current reality that you're in. So this is not to sound cliche. This is literally the first step to this process. Literally the first step to the process of overcoming any bad habit tangibly. This is the first, it's not really tangible, it's more of like a metaphysical step, but it's going to be tangible down the line, is to honor where you are in your life. Honor where you are in your life. Where you are is perfectly okay. And in fact, if you don't go through the process that you're going through right now, there's no chance you can get to the place that you want to be that maybe other places are. Maybe where other people are. You can't get there. The thing that you're comparing yourself to I pretty much can promise you that whatever somebody overcame that you're looking up to, they had to honor where they were. They had to accept the fact that they are where they are, because true change does start with acceptance. It does start with acceptance. When you're resisting where you're at in your life, all you're doing is you're keeping yourself stuck where you are. Honor where you are. Accept that you have a unique path. Does it mean you're worse? Does it mean you're better? Does it mean somebody else is better? Does it mean somebody else is worse? You probably have a lot of things that you've overcome too, that you're way further than other people. But you need to honor where you are, because this is the first step. Now, the second thing you want to do, and these are all very important steps. This is not to be cliche. This is literally the step that needs to be taken to truly overcome a bad habit and break the cycle of guilt and shame. Because the reason why you don't want to accept where you are, it's like, oh, Francis, I have a lot of resistance that I don't want to accept where I am because I need to, you see, that lack of acceptance is the reason you can't overcome what you're going through. Because you feel like, oh, all that guilt and shame, I don't want to accept that guilt and shame. I need to force myself because I shouldn't be doing this. Oh, my mind says I shouldn't be doing this, so I don't need to be feeling this guilt and shame. I don't need to move deeper into the guilt and shame. I need to just use willpower. How has that strategy worked for you? How is guilt, how is forcing yourself been working? I don't know about you, but for me personally, when I only come from willpower and I only come from force and manipulation and my mind, all that does is that keeps me stuck in that cycle of self-sabotage, guilt, and shame. That's all it does. So ask yourself, if you're resistant to honoring where you're at, what's that about? Why? Why are you resistant? Why are you so resistant to accepting that you have this habit? Because I'm willing to bet that that's also the reason you can't overcome it. Maybe you don't get it now. It's like, Francis, wait, actually that might be the case. There you go. You got to realize that that is the reason. That is the reason you might not be able to overcome it. And just question it. It's like, okay, if I'm so unwilling to accept that this is where I'm at right now, is it possible that's what's keeping me stuck? Ask yourself that question, because this is what it is. It's no coincidence that the thing you're afraid to accept you have been struggling to let go of for many years in your life. Do you think that's just random? No. This is counterintuitive. This is the counterintuitive side of spirituality. The moment that you can fully accept that this is where I'm at, 100% consciousness, be aware, be present, feel into the moment, have fun with it. You want to go do that bad habit? Go right ahead. Honor that. There's nothing wrong with being where you're at. Now it's like, Francis, but that doesn't always work. I want to go a little bit deeper to make it work. But the first step is to honor the process that you're going through in life and just accept where you're at. Now the second process to make it lead to something more tangible down the line, because this is just the beginning. The first step is to honor where you're at. The second step is to stop judging yourself in the midst of doing the action that you're doing. Doesn't matter what it is. A lot of people are on the spiritual path and they tell themselves that this thing is not spiritual, so I shouldn't be doing this thing. But the problem is that if you have a story in your head telling you why you shouldn't be doing something because it's not spiritual, that's your own mind coming up with the concept. And if you know anything about what quote unquote true spirituality really is, it's about not judging anything, not putting a label onto anything. Now, I'm not saying that's just the way spirituality is and that's how it is in the whole universe, but that's the way I'm using it in this video. What I realized is that if we really want to step into our power and we really want to let go of the things that are no longer serving, the first counterintuitive step is to be in the midst of whatever it is that you're doing, that your ego wants to play out. The pattern needs to play out first before you can let it go. With consciousness, the consciousness has to play that pattern out, but you have to do it without judging yourself. So you want to be fully present with that bad habit. And you're thinking, whoa, Francis, why would I do that? Nope, you crossed the line there, Francis. Nope, can't do that because that thing's wrong. That thing's wrong. I can't stop judging myself for that. But also, what's your success rate to let go of that habit? You see that? Do you see how the more you judge yourself for being somewhere, the more that you stay stuck in that pattern in your life? Do you see how the thing within you that you're unwilling to stop judging is the thing that's still in your life that you probably judge other people for as well? I'm sure the thing you judge within yourself, you judge all the other people in your life too, right? That thing you don't want to look at within yourself, you see other people and you're like, oh man, it's so bad, I can't believe they're doing that. But you do the same thing. You do the same thing. If you're honest with yourself, the thing you judge in other people is the thing you judge within yourself, because we're all one. You can't separate yourself from the other. Whatever I judge in the other, probably I'm willing to bet a lot of money I judge within myself. Whatever you judge in other people, I'm gonna put a lot of money down that you probably judge yourself too. The people that project anger onto other people, the people that project judgments onto other people, the people that say other people are bad and this thing is bad and you shouldn't be doing this, pretty much can promise you that you have a lot of negative self-talk in your head. That's why when somebody projects negativity on me, I send them love in my heart. And that sounds cliche, but honestly, when somebody has so much anger in their heart that they project it onto me, I honestly think to myself, wow, I wonder what they might be going through. They're probably going through a lot of pain and suffering. They need more love. They need more compassion. So you need to give compassion to yourself with whatever habit you're doing. Doesn't matter what it is. In fact, the thing that you disagree with the most, the friend says, no, I get what you're saying for this, but for this habit, no. I can't stop judging myself for that. That's where you need to stop judging yourself the most. All right? The thing that you have the most resistance to stop judging, that's the thing you need to stop judging yourself the most for. When you're like, Francis, yep, I get you there, but for this thing, nope, you crossed the line. That's where you need to do more work. And it's not work, it's surrender. Work in this context is spiritual surrender to what is without concept or judgment. That's the true essence of raising up to this 5D level of consciousness that the planet is going through right now. When you stop judging yourself and you allow your ego to come up to the surface and bring it to the light of consciousness, that is the key to overcome what you are doing. First step is to stop, the second step is to stop judging yourself. Now the third thing you want to understand is that the true way to overcome any pattern, seriously, the true way to overcome any negative pattern is to let it play out in your consciousness with full presence. That's it. That's it. Now, I know there's going to be resistance to that. I know there's going to say, Francis, no, that doesn't work because you need to force yourself, you need to do this, you need to work hard. I get you. I understand what you're going to say. I get the objections. I've been there. But what you got to realize is that oftentimes, if you just let the pattern play out, if you just let it play out in your consciousness, if you just let it come up to the surface, what's going to start happening is that you stop judging yourself for it, you be fully present with it, it'll start to magically vanish because you'll start to realize the pain it's causing you. The only reason we keep things in our life is because we don't see the pain that it's causing us. That's all it is. We haven't felt into the pain that it's causing us. And it's like, Francis, I thought you said this is going to be fun. The good news, the reason that I'm saying this is because your goal is not to stop yourself from doing what you want to do because it's not spiritual. The true goal is to do what your heart wants to do moment by moment and do it with consciousness. Let yourself be where you want to be. Some people think, oh, doing this is not spiritual, and they read it in a book somewhere, and then they listen to that, and then they're miserable because they never came to the conclusion in their own heart that they actually don't want that thing. What if you do want to explore that area of life for like 3 years or 5 years or 1 year, or even 1 month, or even 1 day? You got to go explore that area of life, or if you're already in that area of life, move into it with consciousness until your ego doesn't have a desire for it anymore. This is what it means to let the karma play out. So the spiritual answer to overcome any bad habit is to let the karma of the bad habit play out. Let the karma of the bad habit play out. When you can let the karma of the bad habit play out, what does this mean? It means that you do whatever it is that you want to do, but you bring honestly, fully, truthfully, all the consciousness that you can into it, all the presence that you can into it. So if you're unwilling to let go of a toxic relationship, I want you to be really present with your partner. Really feel into the partner's energy. Don't half be there fully. And I can pretty much bet a lot of money that you won't take it. You won't take it. You'll let the karma of that relationship play out until you come to the conclusion that actually, I love myself way too much to put myself through this pain, and put myself through this pain that I didn't even realize I was putting myself through until I did what Francis said and I was fully conscious with the relationship. That's the point. This is what starts to happen when you go through what some people call a spiritual awakening. You start to complete the karma. You complete the past. You complete all the stuff that you were in resistance to. You start to become conscious, not think about why it's bad for you, but you become conscious of the pain that it's causing you. That's it. And if you're not conscious of how much pain it caused you yet, go find out. And that's the solution. That's how you overcome a bad habit. Now, the good news is that it's going to be probably more fun than you think, because you're not dishonoring what your heart wants. You know, if you want to go do something that you think in your mind is dysfunctional or society perceives as dysfunctional, I can't tell you how to live your life and what to do. But my invitation to you is, if you're already going to do it anyways, then just go do it and be conscious while you do it. And that's the thing. I'm not saying go do it. I'm saying whatever you do in your life, be conscious with it. I'm not telling you to go into negative patterns and negative relationships. I'm saying wherever you already are, live the same life that you already were going to live anyways, but do it with consciousness. This is what it means to let the karma play out. It means that you're not running away from the pattern that needs to be completed. You're feeling into it 100% until your heart has no more desire for it. How do you know that some things aren't going to assist in your enlightenment and in your spiritual path? And they go, oh, for instance, if I go for these, if I eat this fast food, that's not spiritual. But how do you know that eating fast food consciously is not going to make you realize that you truly don't want fast food anymore? And that's going to lead you to get to a space of just naturally, with no effort, gravitating towards healthy food. That's when you're looking at people that you're comparing yourself to, and you're like, why is it so easy for them, right? Because they just don't want it anymore, and they got to that point in their life, but you maybe haven't. And that's where you're like, oh, Francis, but like, oh my gosh, so no, don't guilt yourself. Honor where you are. You see what I'm saying? The truth is that some people just are where they are. And the more that you can accept that, the faster you'll progress on this journey to overcome the things you're fighting. Because the more that you force yourself to be somewhere where you're not, that's when you stay stuck where you are, and you stay stuck in the patterns, and you keep judging other people, most likely, maybe, probably as well, right? So the true key here is awareness. When something comes into the light of awareness, that is the solution to overcome the bad habit. The solution is not to try to be somewhere where you're not. It's not to pretend that you're not where you are. It's not to force yourself. These are all great tools. I'm not saying to not use willpower. Willpower has its place. Use your willpower. Use the will that is within you to create the life that you want. But be open to the possibility that also overcoming your bad habits can be easy. It doesn't have to be hard. It doesn't have to be extremely difficult. If you can feel your way into life and allow yourself to be where you are 100%. That is the solution. I'm telling you, everything I've overcame in my life was by feeling my way into where I was. I have a history of doing a lot of bad habits, and looking back, The way that I overcame all of them was just by being conscious. Look at my video, why I quit smoking weed and why I quit smoking alcohol. Now, I'm not saying those things are bad. Again, that's why I don't always give examples, because there's no such thing really, at least from my perspective, as like objectively bad. Now, some people will debate that. No, Francis, some things are just objectively bad, but I'm just gonna say that for the purposes of this video, because it's relatively for you what you wanna overcome, right? So how I overcame what was not serving me personally in my life, for example, alcohol. Again, nothing wrong with alcohol, but for me personally, it was just not serving me. What happened was I had to come to the conclusion through what I shared with you that I didn't want to let it go. Now again, this is why I don't really give examples, because the problem is that people can start to put things into a container. And when you put things into a container, what does that mean? Francis, container, what that means is this reality is infinite. Everybody's on their own path. There's no good, there's no bad, there's just relative to you what you need to let go of right now. And you know what you need to overcome. I don't need to give an example. As I gave that whole speech in this video, you were probably thinking of the thing you know you need to let go of. I don't need to give an example to let this message hit. You probably know in your heart what you need to let go of. So the solution is really to let the pattern play out. Let the karma play out. Let the karma play out. All the things that I did in the past just kind of started to fall out of my life. Toxic relationships, negative things that I was abusing in my life, the things that I was overusing, the food that I used to overeat, the things even now in my life that are not serving. The only way to overcome those things, it could even be an emotion. It might have an emotion that's not serving you. The way that you overcome even something as subtle as an emotion is to let the karma play out in your consciousness and allow yourself to move through it. Now, sometimes it's going to be hard, sometimes it's going to be fun, because you can let yourself go do what you want without judging yourself. That's what I'm saying. There's nothing wrong with anything. And some people want to resist that, but there's so much for you to experience in your life. And the only way to realize that you don't want to experience something, and you can put it in this container of bad, is by experiencing it and finding for yourself that it's not serving you. When you put something in a container without actually experiencing the contrast, you fail to let the karma play out. The key is to go live your life, but do it with consciousness. I'm not giving you permission to be an egotistical maniac and let your unconsciousness take you over. I'm giving you permission to live the life you've already been living and are going to keep living for eternity until you bring consciousness into it. Because that's the thing with karma, is that it's going to keep repeating itself until you bring it to consciousness. So what I'm telling you is not to change your life, it's to be where you are and let the universe and the universal consciousness bring to your attention that you just don't want that thing anymore for you personally. Break out of the container that you have in your mind. Experientially come to the conclusion that whatever you're fighting is just not needed anymore. Whatever you're fighting is not serving you anymore. Whatever you're fighting is not helping you anymore. Get to that conclusion by letting your heart go after the desires that it wants, consciously, with awareness, with attention, with observation, and to be where you are fully, and watch how the magic begins to happen in your life, where you magically realize you don't want certain things, and then you gravitate towards things, but you learn through contrast. How do you know you don't want something unless you experience it? You're gonna get to two conclusions. Either you go do that thing and you realize actually you do want to be there. You do want to do that thing. You wanted to do it all along, but you were guilting yourself and shaming yourself for wanting it. Or you realize it's causing you a lot of pain and you don't want. but the only way to find out is to go experience it with consciousness and explore this earth realm, which is what you came here to do. So that's all I have for this video. Once again, if you want to work with me one-on-one personally, hit the link that's in the description box of this video to apply for a free consultation, to work with me one-on-one personally. Also, I have a group program coming up in the next couple of months. So if you want to be a part of the program and if you want more details on the program, the link will be in the description box of this video as well. Have yourself a great day. And as always, I'll see you in the next video.